Hey, hello and good morning. Now today is going to be a kind of different day and a little bit special as well. First of all, we are under like a partial lockdown over here in Pune, but we are still trying to create some content. And today we are trying to create something really interesting where we are taking a very unique car out for testing. The car we have with us is going to be a very small electric car which got a very minute range, something which is going to be used mainly for the cities, but we are trying to see if a certain conversion that has been done on that particular car kind of makes it a vehicle that can be used outside the city for long distances as well, and how feasible that thing is. Okay, so this is the car that we have in question with us. This is a Mahindra E2O, as you can already see. Now the thing is that this car has a range of about 100 to 120 kilometers from the factory. But what Northway Motorsport has done is they have installed a higher range or a longer range battery pack to this car, where they are claiming that this car should be capable of doing 400 to 500 kilometers on a single charge, and that's what we are planning to test today. Apart from that, you could see that most of the car is any which ways from the outside. Everything is pretty normal. There's not much over here which is changed on the outside. It's a standard E2O. If you see over here, it's got a standard E2O charging socket as well. It's got the standard charging socket which comes from the company, but Hemant, the owner of Northway Motorsport, says that they have plans for including a CCS charging socket to this car as well in the future. Best part is that interiors, everything stays stock on the front. Of course, everything stays pretty much stock over here at the back as well. You don't lose any of your seating, you don't lose any space inside the car. Where things change a little bit though is the boot, because it is completely full with a massive battery pack. Hello, hi. You're the owner of the car, right?
Yep.
Go on.
Mr. Samir.
Mr. Samir, he's the owner of the car, and he's graciously let us come along with him for the drive also. And today we are going to be hypermiling this car, yes?
Yes.
We're going to try hypermiling as much as possible.
Yes.
So have you done this before, or this is the first time that you're doing this?
On this with the kit, I'm doing hypermiling first time.
Okay.
But without kit, I have done up to 166 kilometer, which is actually 110 kilometer car.
Yeah, because the company claims 110 to 120 kilometers.
Yes.
But as we all know, it's not always the case where you can get the full range out of the car. Most of the times when the manufacturer says 120 kilometers, you end up depleting the battery after say 80, 90 kilometers or something like that.
Yes.
So you've actually achieved 160 kilometers.
166 kilometers.
Wow, so you are the right person to actually push this car past 500 also, I'm pretty sure. What is your expectation like? What do you think? How much will it or
I
should it
should
do?
get at least 450, but as we are doing a highway run, I will be tending towards higher speed.
Yeah.
And that may possibly lose up some
Reduce
range.
it a little bit. But I think for a car of this size and the purpose which this car is built for, even if we are able to do 300, 350 kilometers, I think that also should be quite good,
Yeah.
because in the end of the day, this is a city car.
Right.
So let's head out and see how this test works. So basically, we are starting this journey with 95% state of charge.
Yes.
And we are aiming to do upwards of 300 kilometers easily,
Yes.
right?
350 kilometers is the target.
Okay.
We shall be able to do 350 kilometers comfortably,
Uh-huh.
and we'll try to push it as high as we can.
Let's see. Do we go till 400? I don't know. Let's see.
Possible.
Let's try it out then. Alright.
Because a lot in electric cars depends on how you drive.
How you drive, correct. How you drive, what kind of a gradient you're driving
Yes,
it, if it's
yes.
an upslope, if it's a downslope.
Correct.
Like right now, the plan is basically that we are going to go from Pune to Bombay.
and back.
And Bombay, basically, we're planning to go on the express highway. So we're going to go from Pune onto the express highway to Panvel. and then back from Panvel to Pune. So in that, one of the major challenges is going to be at the Khandala Ghat,
Khandala Ghat, yes.
where it's a complete steep uphill and it also has a lot of traffic. So that's where we are expecting to lose quite a lot of our battery range. But I hope while going down we'll
While
be
going
regenerating
down,
also,
we will
no?
be regenerating, but
Yeah.
we don't regenerate the full
As much as the
energy.
uphill is, the elevation is going to consume. So yeah, it's going to be tricky, but let's see how it goes. Let's just quickly check up on our friend over here. How is the battery doing? Hello sir.
Yep. Hi.
So we've just completed a small leg where we've come from Hemang's factory. I'm keeping this here as okay. So we've just completed a small leg where we've come from Hemang's factory down to my place. We must have driven what, about
17.8
17.8 kilometers, and we are at
6% of power.
In
or
6
5.5% of power, kind of.
5.5% of power, and we still at 89% state of charge.
Yeah.
Awesome, cool. So now I'm going to switch from that car into this car and continue the journey with him.
Yeah.
And yeah, let's see on the next stop what are the readings. As sir was mentioning, the state of charge is not linear because the battery and the BMS unit which is there in this car is set up by Mahindra for the 11 kilowatt hour battery pack that is in this vehicle originally. But since this car has got a 26 kilowatt hour battery pack,
Yes.
so the extended battery pack combined gives you an total
27 rather.
27 kilowatt hour battery pack is what it's become now. And for that, this obviously the BMS is not that sort of, you know, tuned, or it's not calibrated to that. So the SOC keeps on varying a little bit. But what matters to us today is the overall range and the maximum range that we can juice out of this car. Yeah, so guys, we have just reached the express highway, which means that we have to increase our speed a little bit. Earlier we were doing between 40 to 50, 55, even sometimes 60 kilometers per hour. But now, since we are on the highway, we are increasing our speed to 60 to 70 kilometers per hour, which means that we are going to be consuming a little bit more battery. And yeah, so that's something which we need to see and balance out, how we can sort of manage both those sides, where we are not consuming too much battery at the same time maintaining a decent pace. I think on this expressway maintaining 70 kilometers per hour is pretty decent. And yeah, we are currently at 35.3 kilometers total driven and 80% state of charge. So basically what I wanted to understand from you is, lot of people, as I was mentioning earlier as well, there are a lot of people who have a lot of doubt and they have a lot of misunderstanding that how electric cars are actually not cheaper, or are they cheaper, about the batteries, that the batteries degrade. So as I was having a discussion with you some time back, that actually the kind of cost that you were telling me of your, so he has two cars. He has this, the E2O, and he also has a i20. And he was telling me a cost comparison where I think the i20 and this car both have done about 18,000 kilometers.
Yeah,
And
approximately 18,000 kilometers in a year.
Approximately 18,000 kilometers in a year. The i20 in 18,000 kilometers has used up close to a lakh,
Yes.
or more than a lakh rupees in petrol.
Yeah.
This car, on the other hand, has cost you how much?
This car is costed me around 7 lakh rupees.
No, the charge.
Which, 9,000 rupees just.
Yeah, so it costed him 9,000 rupees to run the same 18,000 kilometers. That is the amount of difference in cost. So basically per 20 or 18,000 kilometers traveled, your difference in running the car is close to 92,000 rupees. That is the difference we are talking about when we are talking between electric and petrol. So, and then second thing, what we were also calculating is that between this, so let's say for example a regular person owns a car for about 1 lakh kilometer. He drives his car for, let's say, 1 lakh kilometer before he sells his car, which means that in a petrol i20 he will be spending close to about 4.5-5 lakh rupees in fuel. In this car they will be spending close to 50,000 to 60,000 rupees in electricity. Now that difference, that 4.5 to 5 lakh rupees difference, is almost the same amount of money that recovers 80-85% cost of this car. This car is about 6.5-7 lakh rupees. So in that period of time, you're recovering close to 80% of the cost of the car just in fuel savings. We have still not considered things like maintenance, oil changes, regular services. Then since this is an electric car, there are lesser moving parts, which means that overall wear and tear on parts will be quite less. Generally, as far as correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, for first 3 years there was almost zero cost, and after that every year approximately 2,000 rupees is a servicing cost
Okay.
on this. So which means within 4,000 you got a 5 years working on this particular car, whereas a normal petrol car will typically it will have 10,000 rupees per servicing, and there will be at least 2 service per year. So
Yes.
you are going to spend at least 1 lakh rupee on the servicing cost for an petrol car for 5 years.
Yeah, 5 to 6 years whenever you're owning the car, you'll be spending
Correct.
roughly that much. Also, I think one more thing which people gloss over is that even when you talk about the consumables, in an electric car, when you have regen, you're using a brakes also quite a significant bit less, no?
Yes, so my original brake pads which were installed on the car are still intact and very good in condition.
After 18,000 kilometers.
After 48,000 kilometers.
48,000 kilometers.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's one more thing I wanted to show you guys.
Also the original tires which are there, which are also in very good condition. Tread size is more than 3 mm above the marker. So it will definitely run for me for at least 25,000 kilometers.
Okay. Wow. Also, one more thing I wanted to show you guys. As he mentioned, this car has done 48,000 kilometers. I'm not sure if you guys can see it or not. Let me just check. I'll put a screenshot of this later on as well, just in case you guys couldn't see that. So this car has done 48,735 kilometers, and according to the Mahindra app, the E2O app, he has already saved 2,46,718 rupees. That is the amount of saving he's already done. And what he was telling me that this app is also not very accurate, which I do understand, because Mahindra will have a specific price for the fuel. They will not be changing the price of the fuel in the app like how it changes. So let's say when this app was made or whenever they last updated it,
At
the
the time it
price,
was 60,
sorry,
65.
when the fuel was 65.
Fuel was 65.
So when they updated this app last, the price of petrol was 65 to 70 rupees a liter. Today, when the price is 97 rupees a liter, you can imagine this cost and this savings amount being substantially much higher. And throughout that period where, you know, the petrol price went from 70 to 80 to 85 to 90 to current 97, all that change is still not accounted for in this app. So those things are on top. So I would say, according to your calculation, have you made any calculations on this yet?
Not in detail, but I can give you that information a bit later.
But I think it should be at least above 3 lakh rupees.
Yeah, about 3 lakhs.
At least easily above 3 lakh. In 48,000 kilometers, that's the kind of saving you do. So this is one thing which I realized, that we people who specially drive petrols, diesel guys are still sort of somewhere in the middle, but the diesel guys spend less money on fuel, but they spend more money on buying the car. So again, it's the same balance.
Buying on more car and servicing costs are also higher.
Servicing costs are also higher.
diesel.
Plus the parts are also more expensive for the diesel cars as well. But one thing when I compared petrol and EVs or electric cars is that when I realized that the amount of difference, the amount of cost difference in ownership is just sky and ground, man. I mean, it can't be even compared. It's just that big of a difference. And once you start understanding the per kilometer cost, like sir was telling me for his car, with the AC on, the cost for per kilometer is about 85 paisa per kilometer. That's his running cost. Now consider that to a normal petrol car. Even the best economy car is still going to run you close to 6.5-7 rupees per kilometer at least. Yeah,
Yes, that's right.
that's a massive difference. Yeah, I mean, and it builds up. So apparently we've made a slight bit of a mistake. We were driving in B, which is the boost mode, where we were supposed to drive on F. We thought that it will not make that big of a difference considering our current battery stats and our current battery setup, but according to the manufacturer that would make a big difference. And so we are now reverting back from boost mode to F mode, but we've already consumed quite a bit. We've consumed about 32-33% battery. We are at 67% state of charge with 65.7 kilometers on the auto. And let's see, 350 kilometers is looking a little dicey, a little difficult right now, but we're gonna see and find out how far we can stretch this. We just went from 63 to 64. This is the first time I have seen and I have experienced regen in a car. It's pretty trippy that you're not charging and just by going downhill you're generating juice back into the battery. And I think we'll be able to, because this is a constant downhill, we should be able to generate maybe another 1 or 2%. By the end of this downhill we should be at 65 or 66% charge. That's it.
And 20 kilometer driven.
20 kilometer driven as well. Yeah, so you're basically driving while making energy. Pretty insane. So we have just touched 100 kilometers of travel distance. We have 64% state of charge. The state of charge went down to 62%, then we regenerated and got back to 66%. Now it's again back to 64%. Alright guys, we are at Panvel now. We've just finished the entire expressway and we are heading back. We are currently at 53% SOC state of charge and 126.5 kilometers total driven. Technically we should make it back, but the problem is most of the road back or most of the journey back is a complete uphill with a massive uphill, you know, especially while crossing Lonavla, while crossing Khandala and that entire area. Not been turning on the air conditioning at all. We've been relying on Mother Nature to cool us down. And yep, heading on our way back. We've got 53% charge left. It's either going to be a nice comfortable journey back to Pune or massive range anxiety, but we come to know soon. So guys, we just touched 150 kilometers of total distance traveled and the state of charge right now is 43%, which means that we've dropped only by about 7 to 8% over the last 50 kilometers, which means that that point which we were mentioning earlier, that there is a discrepancy in the amount of range it shows and the amount of state of charge it shows because there's an additional battery which is mounted in the car. That is actually true. So here is where the problem is, which is uphills like this, because in the last 12 kilometers we have consumed almost 10% of our range, and the problem is that how far do we have to go? Let me just check. What is this? The Electron Performance Northway Motorsport. Okay, and the thing is that we still have to go 52 kilometers on 29% state of charge. No, correction, we have to go 67 kilometers on 29% state of charge. So it is looking a little scary now. Although we are almost at the end of the uphill section, we still have maybe about say 5 kilometers more uphill to go. Once that 5 kilometer section is over, then we'll have much better economy out of the car. But by the time we are done with those 5 kilometers at the rate at which our charge is dropping, we'd probably lose another 5%. And that will leave us with 25% charge for 67 kilometers. Oh, this is going to be damn tricky, and this is going to be very, very close. So I think that the difficult part is now done. We are at 24% state of charge, 182 kilometers total driven, and we are now back onto normal flat roads. There's still a little bit of uphill, but it's much better than what we were facing before, where we had like a complete steep uphill. With 24% charge, we will easily be able to manage it back, because we have about 58 kilometers remaining to our destination, which means that Bombay-Pune has been an absolute success in this car as of now, what it is looking like. And just like that, we have done 200 kilometers. We just completed 200 kilometers in a E2O, the car which the company claims 120, 130 kilometers max. We've done 200 kilometers with 21 kilometers still remaining. So guys, we are back. We made it, and we've made it back with we made it back with 16%.
एकदम 80-85 also 85 पे रीजन पे गया.
That's true. We did 85 as well, 80-85 as well. But on the uphill sections, we were a bit slow. But then still, we have done. Look at that. We have been left with 16 kilometers of range, and 237 kilometers the total distance traveled. Now I'll do a quick calculation to tell you what that remaining 16% of range is going to give us. Just a minute. We are making about.
नहीं पता नहीं, but yeah, it happens. In E2s it happens.
We're just getting roughly around 5% per. We're getting roughly about 5 kilometers per percent. So then multiply that by 16. So 80, and I would say roughly about 60 kilometers. Let's consider realistically 60 kilometers. We can get 297 kilometers out of this car. That is combined highway as well as city use, which I think is pretty good. Oh. Okay. So here's the thing. Today was an incredible experience. Today was one of the most different experiences that I've had in a long time, and I have actually driven a Tesla Model S P90D back in 2018, so I do have a slight expectation of how EVs are, and I also do have a slight understanding of how EV range is calculated, what range is predicted or what range is advertised, and what actual range you get. Even on the Tesla, you don't get the complete 100% range, of course, depending on how you drive and how you modulate the throttle. It all depends on that, what kind of surface you're driving and all those things. But today I was actually quite pleasantly surprised by the overall performance that this car gave, because as I just calculated, we got close to 230 kilometers out of the car with still 16% of its battery remaining. If we would have utilized that 16% as well, we would have got close to 297, close to 300 kilometers of range overall from the car. And I think that's quite a decent amount of range, considering that it's a E2O. We drove this car on the highway. We drove it from Pune to Bombay, where on the way going, while going there was a slight incline throughout. There was a gradual gradient while we were going on the way to Bombay. Once you cross Lonavala, though, there's a complete downhill for about another 20-30 kilometers, so that sort of gains you a lot of your range back, so it kinds of evens itself out. But when you're coming to Pune, that's when you have like a huge and a very steep uphill which goes for approximately another 30 kilometers, 25-30 kilometers, and that kind of totally eats up into the battery. And also, apart from that uphill section, the 20-30 kilometers uphill section, most of the places we were doing a good reasonable 70 to 80 kilometers per hour constant speed throughout the highway. 80 kilometers per hour is actually the maximum speed that the E2O can do. So we were sort of in the top speed range bracket, 70 to 80 kilometers per hour. And considering that, I think that the range that we got was pretty respectable. And if you drive this car, like I spoke to Hemang and we are probably going to do another test with this car as well. But if you drive this car purely in the city, without going out on the highways, without going on different gradients, without running it on highway speeds, let's say in city speeds, about say between 30 kilometers per hour to 50 kilometers per hour, then that advertised range which these guys are saying, which is of let's say 350 kilometers and above, is quite possible. I'm pretty sure that is possible, although we would do another range test on this. One thing I want to point out though, and I want to leave this question across to you, is that the original E2O costs about 7 lakhs. Now the cost of this conversion or the cost of these additional batteries is approximately 3 to 3.5 lakh rupees, which brings the total cost of the car to about 10 lakhs. Now you decide and you let me know in the comment section below, what do you think? Does this overall cost make sense? Because I mean, still, if you compare it to anything else in the market, if you compare it to let's say the Nexon EV, you're still saving about 6 to 7 lakh rupees, while at the same time getting a better range, technically better range than the Nexon EV. Although you might not get better space in the car, rest of the features of the car obviously would be way different. But just compared purely in terms of its battery capacity and battery performance, you're actually getting a better performing car where you're doing close to, where you can, with the AC on, we didn't have the AC on. If the AC is on, you could easily do about 200 to 230 kilometers on a full charge. And yeah, so let me know in the comment section below, what do you think of this conversion? How much sense does it make? Would you want to go with it? Not? Let me know. I hope you like this video. I'm going to see you in the next one. Till then, ciao.